Hello there my fellow Holotable heroes and welcome to another SWGOH video. Today I have a very special opportunity for you guys. You probably know him already, but for those that you don't, I have Xaereth with me today and he's the Grand Arena guru, and it only seems fitting that we talk about Grand Arena today. How are you, Xaereth, my friend? How's it going?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for having me on. This is fun. This is a fun collaboration.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely want to, pick your brains about Grand Arena and everything. Now, some of you may have heard there is the Community versus Developers Grand Arena tournament coming up. I think CG hasn't confirmed dates yet, right?
They actually it's coming up pretty soon. It'll be on Tuesday, they always say that caveat of like it's subject to change,
Yeah.
but yeah, it'll be on October 26th, I believe.
Oh, so we do
and
have a date. Okay.
Yes, yep, October 26th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time.
There you go. You heard it here first. Cool. So yeah, maybe you can just start off by a little bit because I'm pretty sure there are some of viewers here that haven't heard about this or have heard it, but they haven't seen the video because Xaereth already did a video on his channel talking about this, how it's going to work and things like that. So maybe if you can just briefly summarize for those that haven't seen your video yet. If you haven't seen it yet, go and check it out. The link in the description below to his channel. Make sure to subscribe. Because he, like I said before, he's a Grand Arena master, so you can definitely learn a lot from him.
Plenty better people than me at GAC, but I do appreciate that. Yeah, the GAC, the speed GAC thing is that's what the devs are calling it. It's essentially we have 8 total teams, and we're all going to be playing like a really fast version of GAC. So these 8 teams are going to each have a main player and then like an advisor role. So like in my case, I'll be the main player, and then my podcast co-host, SoloBase15, is going to be advising, and like he'll be planning and trying to keep us all moving quickly, because we have a total of 20 minutes to place defenses, then 20 minutes to do our attacks, and this is all Division 1, so it's 11 teams, 5v5 teams on defense, plus 2 ships, and then 20 minutes of review. And so we're going to be streaming it, and it's just going to be this total madness of like, we can't look at chat, we can't even look at like our opponents are going to be going at the same time as us, and we can't even see how they're doing because we don't have time. It's 20 minutes. But yeah, so there will be a total of 8 teams. There will be 5 different groups of community of content creators. So the other teams are from Operation Metaverse, we have good old Maurice and T-Money G. And then Reality Skewed Gaming has Ranger, and I believe he just got Heinze as his second, so that'll be fun. And then there's the famous Kate Gaming from the Bounty Honeys. She is going alongside the Llama. And then the final one, which is probably the most known team, is Cubs fan, Han, and Gridden. So there will be five of those, and then there's 3 developers that are in the mix. But we don't even know. Like we could potentially get all the way through the finals and win and everything, and only face other players. So it's not necessarily devs versus community in every aspect, but it'll be interesting. It'll be very challenging. We have to change our strategies quite a bit.
Yeah, so it's just in like a standard bracket of 8 kind of players, right? We have one bracket, and is it going to be the same principle, like you win and then you play with the winner, you lose, play with the loser, or something like that? And then it can happen because unless they fix it, it will be random, right? Who plays who?
Right, like they could potentially have developers facing developers in any given round, as long as they have the right win-loss record. It's basically just a really fast round of GAC. It'll be 3 hours from start to finish.
Yeah, and what are your thoughts about like having only 20 minutes for attack? Because it's almost unlikely you will full clear, right, in 20 minutes.
Well, yeah, like I'm fairly sure people aren't going to clear. Now, I can't give away all of our strategies, of course.
Yeah, of course not. I'm not asking for
but,
that.
but the time crunch, it's everything. yeah, it's gonna make things so different because everyone has to plan around like, okay, if I can't clear everything, how do I make the best of the situation? Like, what's that modifies the way everything is structured, really. Everything takes on a different kind of value.
Yeah, because like, do you go for ships or do you go for the bottom, right? That's probably going to be the main decision on it.
Right. Well, and we'll have so every character is going to be Relic 9.
Wow.
And we'll have just a little time to be able to remod our accounts, but so every single character is Relic 9, including we'll have Maul in on it as well. And so a few of the guys have already done like beta testing on Maul, so they know how he works, and like I'm not one of those guys, and so I don't know how like Maul works in theory. Okay, I like, what does the Lord Vader mirror match look like? I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
With Maul, like we could do a really annoying like Lord Vader versus Lord Vader without Maul, but that it's gonna look dramatically different once you get Maul introduced. So
okay, so you're not playing with your accounts then? You're just given an account, or how does it work?
yeah, so we'll all just be given the exact same account basically, with the same mods, and we're not allowed to add any new mods. We can remod given the mods that we already have, and they actually just gave it to us. I haven't been able to look at it yet today, but just like an hour or two ago, they sent out the message that they're available. So hopefully they gave us a really poorly modded account so we can get in and remod, and the other of our opponents won't, we can actually derive an advantage from it, as opposed to if it's already really well modded to start with, like may as well just leave it kind of thing. Change a couple things, but
yeah, would you prefer to have more time for the attack, or do you prefer just to have a little bit totally different experience? Or would you like to have like an hour or something for attack? What are your thoughts on that?
I do like to be able to interact with, you and I were talking about before we started recording, like a lot of the joy of streaming is interacting with the community, like the fans, and in this case we'll probably get a lot of viewers and they'll be talking a lot, and we won't be able to look at chat at all because 20 minutes we'll barely have time to talk to each other kind of thing. We just got to be moving. 20 minutes is no time at all, really. I mean, it could just be 4 timeouts, you know, like that's it. So
could be, yeah.
I mean, we don't plan on that, but you don't have much time. So it would be kind of fun to have more time. But on the other hand, it's already going to be a 3-hour event because we're just going to do the GAC back to back to back. Like, it wouldn't necessarily work that well to have it be like a 5-hour event or something. So 20 minutes, it changes the strategy enough that it puts us all on kind of an equal playing field. I kind of like the idea of 20 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, it'll make it, I guess, quicker is the main thing, right? Because it's lots of round to play in one stream. But one part of me would just like to see a classic Grand Arena style, at least give you like an hour for attack or hour and a half, because then you could really see who is better, community or the devs, right? Because now, it's like almost who wins. It doesn't really prove much because, it's a totally different game than what we are used to. And then also you mentioned like you get all these characters at Relic 9, where developers, they're testing, they mentioned already everything at max levels always. So from that regard, developers got slight advantage because they know what characters do at Relic 9, whereas we don't have all characters Relic 9, and maybe some character Relic 9 is a totally different character than at Relic 2 or 3. So and as mentioned as well before with Maul, again, developers have lots of testing with Maul or even the beta testers, so they have the slight edge from that regard, I guess, here.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be really tough because especially like Relic 9, on some characters it's like, okay, they do a little extra damage, but some characters it's like, I mean, just look at Jedi Master Luke and how he transforms his entire team, and I'm sure that there's a few other interactions that we just haven't looked into. Like what about Commander Luke with really good mods, and he's with Chupio, like Chupio spreading all those buffs. It's not going to be as dramatic as Jedi Master Luke's transformation, but it's there's going to be all these interactions that we haven't foreseen. And like L3 is like, okay, she's a good tank, but at Relic 9,
Wow.
How crazy is she going to be? Or Royal Guard, for that matter. You know, like we're just in totally uncharted territory. Relic 9 is going to transform a lot of things. How good is Gamorrean Guard at Relic 9, for instance?
I don't know. We'll see. I guess Urza would like to find that one out probably, because I think he really he's Gamorrean way back. I think, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's got a lot of fun builds. I mean,
he had the whole Beauty and the Beast team going.
That's true.
With
That's
visas.
True. We also like what's going to happen with ships. Like no one's ever seen a fully Relic 9 Executor mirror match. Like what's that going to look like?
Oh, will it be 3v3 or 5v5 actually?
5v5.
Oh, that's even worse than 3v3 actually then, because battles take longer usually, don't they? In 5v5.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. I'm glad that they've chosen to do 5v5 because that's more approachable to the player base.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's also like right. I'm glad that they're doing it early-ish, like because when you're in the middle of a 3v3 season, you're not thinking in terms of 5v5. So it's nice that they were able to do this fairly early on in the 3v3 season.
Cool. So yeah, that sounds interesting. Definitely didn't know about the date, because did they post on the forums anything, CG, about the date? Because otherwise I would have known about it. So I don't know.
They told us. I made a video where I told everyone about it, but otherwise that's they haven't communicated it that well so far, at least.
Okay, all right, we'll see. I'm sure there'll be some official announcement, at least, because maybe they're still not 100% of the date and the details, so maybe they'll just do it the day before or something. Yeah. All right. Is there anything else you want to add about the community versus devs topic before we move on to the next?
It's exciting. Come check us out, guys. We'll be streaming it live on Twitch, so that'll be fun. Even if we don't talk to you even once, it'll still be fun.
Yeah.
Maybe
You'll have to have like after stream party to chat with the community, I guess. Maybe watch some replays and talk through with people what you were thinking at that point and stuff like that, maybe.
Or maybe just collapse in exhaustion because it'll be 3 very intense hours.
Make sure to get some food and drinks, huh?
Yeah, no kidding. Stay hydrated.
Absolutely. All right, cool. So I've asked my patrons, if they have any questions they would like to ask you. Again, you being known as the expert of Grand Arena and, all the counters and everything. Just, if they have anything they would like to ask you. And the first question for one of my patrons is that he'd be curious to hear your thoughts about Lord Vader and how he will fit now in this 3v3 season, with or without Maul, because obviously many of us will be unlocking Maul in a few days, and we will have them Maul available for the next week of Grand Arena 3v3. So what are your thoughts around this?
So Maul is so problematic right now. I mean, he's gonna be really good with Lord Vader. Like you can tell, like they clearly designed him to, the torso boys, the guys that don't have legs, get to go with each other, and it's fitting. Like they kind of complete each other. But here's the thing, Maul, we have no practice with him, no practical. And the thing that I always tell people is, when we do predictions on these characters, you can get so much from kits, but you can't plot it out perfectly. There are way too many variables to really be able to tell. And 3v3 especially, it's like, okay, so what's the team? If you have Lord Vader and Maul, it's probably going to be Lord Vader, Maul, and Royal Guard, is my guess.
Yeah.
And, that's the first thing that everyone's going to try. Maybe there'll be something randomly good about, like, L3. Probably not. But, there might be something else good. If you don't have Maul, Lord Vader is okay on defense. He gets beat by Supreme Leader Kylo over the course of, 4 minutes. It takes a long time to ramp up because you're not critting as much as you want to, so you're not getting as much stacking mastery and all of this stuff. But Supreme Leader Kylo can over time manage it, and he he wins that fight in 3v3. 5v5, I don't think that you have the same result. But once you get Maul in there, my guess is that Maul just beats the crap out of Kylo and he loses. So I think that'll shift things. Who knows what's going to shift, though, when, like, what counters Maul? Like Lord Vader Maul on defense? I have no idea. Probably not Kylo. I mean, maybe like Kylo with Watt or something, so that he can have some damage mitigation. Or,
an armorer, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, let's get the whole crew, yep.
Then Sith Eternal will be alone without his buddies. What he's gonna do then?
I know, he needs his babysitter. I have no idea.
Yeah, I've seen that your video as well. Yeah, that was fun one. Yeah, babysitting. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But I mean, who knows what's gonna happen with it? Like 3v3, I have a feeling the Lord Vader Maul team is gonna be really irritating. Like, does Jedi Master Jedi Master Kenobi with Cat? How do they interact there as well? I just don't know. So, and what's the mirror look like? Like, do you just time out against each other? Do you actually just destroy each other really quick? There's tons and tons of questions that we don't know, and we won't know until we just go live, and it's just like, who knows? But I think the advice that I would give people in general with it, if you do have both Lord Vader and Maul, is if you don't have like any concrete knowledge on how they're gonna do, put them on defense and make them your opponent's problem. That way you don't risk misusing them on offense. Your opponent has to risk using a too weak team to counter you. So, make them your opponent's problem.
Yeah, because I personally don't have Lord Vader. I don't see Lord Vader in Arena as well, so I have absolutely no first-hand experience with Lord Vader. But from videos, what I've seen, just looks like he's lacking firepower, like damage, really, it seems. So if Maul will bring the damage to the Lord Vader team, that will change everything, right? Because at the moment, it just feels like Lord Vader just kind of, you can't take him out, he can't take you out, and it's just like a very long battle.
Yeah, he just slowly ramps up his damage till he kills something. Yeah, it took me like 3 minutes just to kill like a really weak. What was it? It was like a Bando team. I feel like is like, sure, he can beat it, but is it 3 minutes to kill like an okay middle of the road, not even Galactic Legend team? I mean, clearly he's missing something, and Maul is gonna be that guy. He's gonna be the. It's like Lord Vader will be the shield and Maul will be the weapon, kind of.
Yeah. Makes sense, yeah. Plus it'll charge up his ultimate faster, right? Because he's doing damage to himself or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that should be how it works. So we'll see.
Especially versus Kenobi, because he'll start with five stacks of Anguish, so he'll take like 5 turns in a row.
So what are you gonna do with Maul if you don't have Lord Vader? What's your plan?
Which leads nicely into the next question from another patron. It says, okay, how would you use Maul with or without? So already we covered with Lord Vader. And it's funny that you asked that, because that's exactly what, one of my patrons was keen to find out. Like, what can you do if you just have Maul? Because I was reading his kit, and he has this Mandalorian synergy, but I don't know, at least on paper, it didn't really look that impressive. I may be missing something. I don't know. What do you think?
So on paper, it looks like it's going to be really good. I don't. Okay. I don't know how it's going to translate to 3v3. I know that the guys who have tested him in 5v5 as the lead, like they've said really good things about his lead in 5v5. Now how it translates to 3v3, who knows? Like. We know that he's giving offense to Mandalorians. We know that like they're going to be able to pass around that Mandalorian buff. I think the Mandalore buff, and I mean maybe that. I don't know. It's very book-like, but that whole thing. You said you read the kit. I was like, oh, nice. Like you can add that to your list of novels that you've read. But I think the people who I've talked to that I mostly trust about these things, who don't have Lord Vader but they're getting Maul, they're saying just put their 2 best Mandalorians with Maul and go for it. Now, I don't know if that means Jango, because Jango has a really nice role in 3v3 with Separatists.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But like you could add like Bo-Katan and because everyone, or at least a lot of people who have unlocked Maul, are going to have a relic Bo-Katan, and then maybe like Canderous or I don't know, Armorer if you can spare her from babysitter duty.
I feel like Bo-Katan could go nice because even her unique right gives you the protection recovery or something when you attack out of turns, right? So
yeah,
she could be good there to add some survivability to the team, I guess.
I think that's where I would start. Just put. I would personally try Bo-Katan with Canderous and Maul, and I'd put them in that front bottom zone so that once again make it your opponent's problem. That team is going to be okay at least. Like you're not going to be able to beat it with some random. Maybe eventually a counter will be released or discovered for it, but it's not going to just be destroyed by. Like Mon Mothma is probably not going to be the answer for that,
Yeah.
Well, maybe it is, but
who knows?
Make your opponent sweat a little bit. Like if it's not, then they've lost a good team, and you've got to defend. So.
Yeah, I'm also thinking in line of like, would Maul be able to help out Sith Eternal and Kylo versus Master Kenobi teams? Maybe not in 3v3 because you're a bit limited, but maybe in 5v5 it could help. I'm not sure. Because if he gets to go 5 times, that's a lot of, ultimate charge for Kylo. Even though those are not critical hits, at least it is 10% that will contribute to. And he's got an AoE as well, so he could maybe help a little bit charge up your ultimate with Kylo. Not sure how he would work with Sith Eternal, but yeah, I was thinking, could you maybe make a use of him in that way?
Well, yeah, I mean he's got that synergy with like dark side characters. So yeah, Sith Supreme Leader Kylo. Yeah, I mean, if you have Kylo, my guess. So the only caveat, of course, is like then Hux doesn't work with him because it's not full first order and stuff. Like you turn that team into. Like on offense, it probably works fine, but then if you put that on defense, teams
no,
like Commander Luke
no, defense. I was just thinking more from offensive point of view, yeah.
Yeah, and on offense, you could probably tailor the right builds to be able to do that. Yeah, you just have to also be careful that you don't want to. The thing that I always think is interesting is so you have the Resistance Hero Bros, and they looked really great. Until you put them with Rey, and then they kind of all of their awesomeness kind of gets swallowed up by the fact that she's a galactic legend and she dominates everything. But in reality, they have such amazing kits. Like once you put them on a different team, they really shine, and you want to make sure that Maul doesn't just kind of get swallowed up by the galactic legendness of like Supreme Leader Kylo or something. If he can make his own team really shine.
Yeah. Definitely, because if he can lift up Mandalorians to be more respectable, that's an extra team that we have, right? Especially in Division 1 when we need all the extra teams we can get. So that's always good, I guess.
Absolutely. That being said, if he can give you added utility with like Supreme Leader Kylo's sinking fast, like he's with the worst GL in Grand Arena right now. He's like, hey guys, the one thing I do that none of the rest of you can do is I still get countered by the off meta. Like the rest of the GLs are mostly like, for the most part, there's not a ton of counters, but
yeah, but it's just down to his AI though, right? Because his AI is very predictable. I think that's why it's easy to control him, right?
Sure. So he could use a boost. Hopefully Maul actually gives it to him. That's a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. So I have one more for you. So this is maybe an interesting one because obviously, many of us content creators, we have, high GP accounts. We got, most of Galactic Legends, if not all, lots of relics. So this question is more like how to balance defense and offense for like my patron used the word non-elite players. So probably, maybe somebody that's maybe a little bit more casual or maybe, lower GP range, because he's saying that it seems like that, this kind of defensive strategies are kind of dying slowly. Probably he's referring to the nerfs, because you don't have so many options to counter Galactic Legends anymore. So from his experience, it seems like his opponents are just pretty much saving most of the things for offense, and then hope that opponent fails somewhere, especially on Executor or something like that, to win. So what are your thoughts on that?
I have my big account that's 8.5, 8.6 whatever million GP, but then I also have two alts. I have my 5.6 million GP alt, which I just finally got a Galactic Legend, finally, like not even Ultimate yet, on that account. But then I also have Prevail Man, which is 2.5, 2.6 million. And to be honest, with those accounts, you could go really hard on defense. I tend to really enjoy going hyper efficient with them. So, I mean, my biggest thing is putting good mods on the teams that you put on defense, so that people don't expect, like, people at your GP especially, they don't expect, I know this sounds ridiculous, but if you make a really fast Paplu on your Ewok squad, no one realizes that Paplu also has on his kit, he just gets an extra 25% speed.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
And so, like, they'll jump in with their slow troopers. They're like, I always just blow Ewoks away with this squad. It'll be good. And even though your Ewoks aren't going to be faster than most, like, really streamlined, cutting edge Imperial trooper squads, if they don't know about that rule and they just use it for, like, low level teams, then if Ewoks go first, they will kill any Imperial trooper team. Like, Imperial troopers can't get their feet and then they lose, and that can just derail them all the way. So, putting good mods on these kind of, like, questionable squads, and then making sure you have enough for offense, and also making sure that you don't take too much for offense, where you're just like, well, I guess I didn't use General Grievous that time, like, that was a waste. Trying to develop these pretty efficient counters, I think, is going to be the key. So, I think that you can actually have a pretty effective thing if someone's got Executor and they just, I call it Ray and pray, when people just put Ray on defense and then pray that she doesn't get cleared, and then they put the rest as garbage.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing that, like you said, or like your patron said, we're calling it the X and flex, like Executor, and that's it on defense. And all I have to say is, if you're at that GP level where you're facing people with Executor, you've got to develop those counters. Like, that is going to be super important. I don't necessarily think. I think that for the most part, though, if you want to try to make Kyber, getting wins and full clears is very important. Both.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because I think, like, to get Kyber, because usually I go for the full clears, and I think I had only 7 wins and I still made Kyber, just because I was full clearing even on my losses. So I think as long as you get some feats along the way done, I think 7 wins, at least, in my division, that was Division 1, and then when they changed Division 2, that was enough.
Yeah, absolutely. There's actually, they've made it, now that they've added all these teams and everything, they've changed the math a little bit. Some people with 6 and 6 are actually getting in to Kyber now. So, right. But you need, the math of it, though, really relies on you getting full clears. So, there's someone on our Discord that has been there for a while that they keep posting. They're like, well, I'm 10 and 2, didn't make Kyber because they only clear half the, because they didn't clear half the board every time. Like, they're just facing people with Galactic Legends. They can't clear the Galactic Legends, so they put a ton on defense to, they win all their matches mostly, but they're only clearing half the board. And then if they can't get feats because they're only attacking half the board, like, it's limiting to the extreme. And so clearing is a really essential part to it. And maybe it sounds obvious, but I mean, Yeah, I remember when they got an 11-1, they finally barely got into Kyber one time. I was like, wow. I was like, that's exhausting. I love having a really tough defense. I love that slugfest mentality of just we're going to just go to town against each other. But on the other hand, I like that because then I still try to full clear. Like
Yeah.
that's always my stated objective. So, you know, try to figure out those counters. I think just paying attention to those counters. Like I know that you've been putting up a bunch of different cool counter videos on your channel, and you know we've got the counter sheet that we use for all the Gambit stuff. So you know all of my matches for my main account at least I have links in a spreadsheet. So you know there's tools out there to be able to develop these counters, and if you do that, then you can start putting more on defense and challenging your opponents quite a bit more. Because I mean, you don't need Jedi Revan to kill Grievous. You only need Mon Mothma, for instance. And Jedi Revan can just go, if that's all you're using him for his Grievous duty, throw him on defense or something.
Yeah, because you mentioned you've got some lower GP accounts. Are you streaming those as well? Can people see somewhere your battles? Because maybe there's audience that will be more interested, into a 2 million GP, 4 million GP accounts, because they can relate more to that type of account.
Absolutely, yeah. So I stream it, and then it's all recorded. I just smash every week together, so they're kind of longer videos. It's like, for my alt at 5.6, it's a 2-hour video usually, but it shows the full week's worth of matches, and I don't cut anything. Like I just glue them all together. But that's on my channel, my YouTube channel, and if you want to catch me on Twitch, I do most of those live. Sometimes I'm too tired, and I do all of my main account live, but then my alts sometimes I'll just do them, I'll just record them. But yeah, all of my stuff from tons of months ago is all on my channel. I even have them on playlists, so you can find them relatively easily.
Yeah, because this is one of the things that often got me thinking, right? Like, it almost seems like players that go hard on defense are penalized because they can't get as many banners, and at the same time, me as an efficiency player, I'm penalized by going up against somebody that plays hard defense. Now, in most cases, I full clear, but still not in an efficient manner. So, when you look at that leaderboard, global leaderboard from Grand Arena, the number one player, is he really number one player, or he just had matchmaking where he had, no any heavy defenses, and then, like example you gave, that player won 10 rounds and still didn't make Kyber. So I was thinking, is there a way that this could be fixed? But I don't know. I think it's a tough one, I guess.
Well, the leaderboard's a joke anyways. Like, I mean, so there are people who get top 10 consistently, and they're very good players, so not knocking on them.
No, I'm not saying they're not bad.
But a lot of times they are efficiency players. Like they need to be to maximize those banners. And then like the top spot, a lot of times, if you look at their history, they swear up and down, I never asked my opponents to do this, but their opponents all place just like they're really weak, like Ewok, Jawa, Mob Enforcer teams, and they just get layups for max banners. And it's because they're from the same guild, if you look closer, or from like the same guild alliance, or they're just buddies, and so their friends are just like, yeah, sure, I'll help you get top, the top spot. Like that's happened a lot, and they'll just swear up and down, no, all my opponents are really good. No, I don't know what you're talking, but it happens so much that I can't really respect the leaderboard that much. Like on any given moment, it could just be that colluding. It's not cheating or anything exactly, but it's also not in the spirit of actual competition. Like I'll never ask someone to give me a layup. Like sometimes people will do it because they don't want to fight me or whatever because they know I'm a streamer, but I just won't. I can't. Just want to compete.
It happened to me a couple of times. People message me, oh, do you want to put really weak defense? And then, we both get high banners. I'm like, nah, man, I'm just going to play my game, man.
I know, yeah.
Because if your opponent does this on frequent basis, it means he's probably better, more efficient at clearing these weak teams than I am, because I don't usually do that. So, like, no, man. No, just like, true. I mean, leaderboard is kind of, it's not that important, I guess. And to be honest, the rewards between different brackets are, not that different, I guess. But, going back to the point of that player, I did know this, that he won 10 times, he didn't make Kyber. So for these kind of cases, they would have to find a way to balance out the banners in a different way. Either you get extra points if your zone held, for example. So each zone is worth, I don't know, 200 banners if you clear it. But then if you don't full clear and your opponent doesn't full clear, you both get like extra those zone points, 200 banners or something. Or you just get simply more points for the win, just to make sure that even if you win 10 times not efficiently, that you can still make Kyber, because in that Kyber box you've got some nice gear there, right? And some crystals as well.
Yeah, more points for the win would be great. I think the problem with defense in doing that, like, so how many times do you fight against auto deploy where like all 4 of your zones hold? Yeah, like you just get lucky.
True.
Like it's if you end up matched up with like 5 people who auto deploy, you're like, oh sweet, like that's 20 zones that didn't even get attacked, but I get max banners for defense, even though it's just luck that you're getting opponents who are mailing it in. So
no, I mean, I would only give you points for the not clear zones if you didn't clear them, that sort of thing, right? So
gotcha.
Something like that, because otherwise you're right, it wouldn't make sense. But again, it might be too complicated, so maybe simple solution would be just give more points for the win then, maybe, I don't know.
I wouldn't be against that. Yeah.
Because for example, I do a full clear and my opponent clears 3 zones, I don't get any extra points because I clear them anyway. But just because you have different players, they like different styles. Like some like to keep everything for offense, some like to go heavy on defense. I had one opponent, he put everything on defense. Later on he realized I'm a content creator. He messaged me, he said, oh, sorry about that. But he just said he's very busy, he doesn't have time, so he just wants to try and win with as little battles as possible. You also have these kind of examples, right? And then you're kind of penalizing people that maybe, okay, if you don't have time, well, I guess it's okay. But some people, they like to go hard on defense, and, they're kind of penalized for playing the game the way they enjoy playing the game. In the end of the day, it's a game, right? You're supposed to have fun, enjoy it in your own way, rather than just instead of preset conditions that you are successful, if you will.
Right. Yeah, I don't know what the solution is. I mean, there's a lot of flaws to GAC, and honestly, like, I like the rewards, and if you win consistently, you're going to have a lot more Zetas, a lot more slicing mats, and all of that stuff. Like, you're rewarded for playing, but at the same time, I mean, there's nothing like cutting edge or new about the rewards. No. So a lot of people just mail it in. They just auto deploy, and they sign up and then ignore it, so they get their a little bit of rewards. I don't know what the solution is though. I wish
it's a tough one, yeah.
I will say that I love that they changed the division sizes. The number absolutely. Of teams and stuff. That's hugely important. That's made GAC a lot more fun.
Yeah. Obviously, as a ship lover, I would like in Division 1 that you put 3 fleets on defense. That'll be something.
I've said that before. I think if to do that though, we need more ships. I think they'll.
Yeah, funny thing that you mentioned that, because we also are doing a video on Xaereth's channel where we talk about ships and what's missing, what would make ships better and more fun. So again, I'll link in the description below. Go and check out the video on his channel.
Thanks, man. This has been fun.
Yeah. All right. Any last words before we sign off here?
Man, all hail RNG, I guess. we gotta prevail despite the RNG. It's important, guys.
All right, cool. Sounds good. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Hope you found this video useful, helpful. Let me know in the comments below and on my Discord server as always. But until then, have fun, enjoy life, and may the RNG be with you, my friends.